Well, hello everybody. Here's my Honda Jazz, my 1.2 petrol or gasoline Honda Jazz, and this is my attempt at producing some sort of video about replacing its air filter. Now I've recently looked around the whole internet about how to change this air filter, and I couldn't find any single instruction or any single video about it. Now, I decided to try and do this because I think there's got to be a lot more people around going around with this car, and they're bound to sometime sooner or later end up having to change its air filter, like I have. Now, he's presently with 155,000 kilometers, and I have never changed its air filter individually or at my local shop. So it's practically stock still. And when I presented that situation to some of my pals, they said, "You're nuts. You've got to change it. You've got to do something about it because it's probably lousy." So let's take a peek. Now, as you can see, this is the engine bay, so there's nothing much. Well, there's a lot to say about this, but not by me. I know the basics, not really everything. And here is the so-called air filter, the engine air filter. Now, as you can see, it's bolted down by 6 screws, 6 Phillips screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exactly, like this. Nothing much about it. I'm going to unscrew them and show you what it looks like inside. Now, I've loosened every screw, so now I'm going to just lift this cover here. Now, there's a little trick you have to take attention to, is because the engine cover is connected by these small tubes right here, and they've got these grips holding on to it, so I can't really pull it out, but it's quite enough for me to reach inside, see, and grab the filter. Now I'm going to try to do this, so since I need both hands on it, I'm going to stop recording right now and I'll show you the end result. Here it is, the old filter. Now I tried to clean it up, so I blew it already with some compressed air, but it really didn't do much good. Now I'm going to get the new one and put them side by side, and you can see how dirty it is actually. As you can see, their coloring is totally different, although I'm almost betting they were made with exactly the same base color. Now, this is the front of it. And let's turn it around and I'll show you the back where the real dirt gets blocked. And here it is. 1 and 2. 1 old and 1 new. Now, I'm pretty certain this new one is not from the same place where this one was made, because at least this one says made in Japan, if you can read it. Guess you can't, because the camera's not focusing. But this one says no such thing. Now, from what I can read in the box, it was made in Russia or some eastern country, which to us Europeans is quite alright. I actually have quite a lot of respect for the Russians. Well, here's a slight change of plans. I wound up having to remove the cover totally by unclipping this small tube, and what we have here is the airbox, I can imagine, and you can see there's some dirt in it. Just wanted to show you the detail, because sometimes I'm guessing it picks up a lot of dirt. Now you can see the contrast between this color and this color. As you can see, these two areas are separated by the filter, and they're totally different. in fact. And here's the air filter placed in its correct position. Now, as I said earlier, this air filter certainly wasn't built in the same place the old one was, because the fit isn't exactly the same. There's some small details in the gasket, and that really show that it's not exactly the same, and the fit is somewhat tighter. But I guess it's not crucial. It's not going to stop the engine from working and doing its job. So I'll just keep on going and doing what I have to do. Which in this case, all I have to do now is put the cover back on. Here's one last peek while I replace this small, I don't know its English name now, but it's some sort of pin back into its place. Now you can see it's pretty simple, nothing much. It slid right out very easily. You just have to pull it a little and it slid out. And when I replaced it back, it slid back in. Now I believe it's totally placed. Now it's important, from what I can gather, to replace this cover exactly into its place. It has to fit in. I had a little trouble putting the gasket exactly where it belonged. I made a mistake. I detected that the cover didn't exactly fit over it, so I had to remove the cover once again, verify the gasket, check everything back into its place, and when I found the problem, I corrected it, put it, and now the cover is totally in its place, totally flat in its place. And there it is, job done. Totally bolted down carefully. Check that everything is right in its place. I believe I haven't touched anything crucial, anything I shouldn't have. But the real test will be turning the ignition key. And let's see what it sounds like. Now the sound of the garage is a little stronger than you'd normally hear in the road. But here's the idle. You can see it's cold still, but I believe everything is in order. I just took it for a spin, and here's what it sounds like when it's already warm. As you can see, it's not that loud, and it's idle. It's pretty stable.